Well, Chris,
well, listen, Mark, listen, hold on. When I say, would you have caffeine today?
What the hell is that up to you?
How much coffee did you drink before the show?
Listen, you can't polish a sneaker, right? throw tomatoes at me, do whatever you're going to do.
Welcome into Corso and Catone, the real deal New England field, presented by the Pats Nation, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching. Chris Corso alongside Mark Catone. Joining us in the booth is our producer-director, Joe Guarnieri, and you. Joe's got us up on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe. Give us that thumbs up, right, Mark?
Absolutely.
You can also catch us on Podbean or anywhere you podcast.
Podbean? What a great! You don't even know what that is. You.
Hey man, I go back and rewatch this show all the time. You know, everybody I know does, and it's get it on Podbean and or Mark anywhere you podcast. But we want everyone to check us out on Twitter at Corso_Catone at Corso_Catone. And listen, you better make sure you check us out on Twitter Sunday night 8:20 throughout that Patriots game, because Mark and I are going to be in the stadium putting up some tweets for all the live action and everything that's happening in that game. So make sure you do that. And
we'll be tweeting before the game even begins. During the afternoon, we'll be tweeting.
Some of the things we shouldn't tweet. But anyway,
that's all right.
But give us a call for our heated hotline 24/7. Make sure you call, leave a message. Joe's going to pick the one he likes the best. I think it's a full-time job, Joe, like even going through all of these. It's that popular right now. But
oh my God.
Right? So Joe's going to pick the one he likes the best for Mark and I to discuss. And I don't think it's fair though, Mark, that we never get to know what it is.
He likes to play that game,
Right.
Joe.
So
like
make sure
you guys on your toes,
Yeah, you certainly do that. So make sure you call 855-313-PATS, 855-313-7287. Mark, we got a great show tonight. We have, of course, Yankees versus Red Sox, and you never want to miss Catone's comments, so make sure you stick around for that. I have no idea what it's going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be entertaining and exciting. And our Patriots preview of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they come into town Sunday, 8:20 p.m. Eastern, for this epic major media event being dubbed as the most the greatest regular season game of all time in history. That's what they're talking about.
They're hyping it up. I guess tomorrow, Chris, for the first time in the history of both franchises, the Today Show and NBC Nightly News are both broadcasting live from Gillette Stadium.
Yeah, it's definitely the biggest.
That's how big this is.
Yeah, definitely the biggest regular season game of in history so far to date.
Yep.
So the only bigger one would be if Brady plays another 10 years and he comes back again. But Mark, before we get the heated hotline, so we want to make sure we let the viewers know we're live right now. But when this airs Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we won't be live anymore. You'll be live, but we won't be live. So everything that's happening now is happening now. And everything that's happening then would have already happened. And so when will then be now?
What the hell are you talking about, for crying out loud?
When will then be now? Soon, very soon. And that soon is Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. This show will air. And of course, live for you. Mark and I will be, watching it right along with you. So make sure you tune into that. Mark, let's get to it. Heated hotline, Joe. Let's have it.
Yeah, this is Bobby from Connecticut. I call again because, Tom Brady playing this week. He playing against Bill Belichick. And Brady going to put Bill Belichick over his knee, and he going to spank him. He going to spank him real good because the Patriots deserve to get spanked because they did that man wrong. How the hell a little man who won 6 Super Bowls walk away and go to another team? Bob Kraft ought to be ashamed of himself. He called himself an owner. How come nobody's saying Bob Kraft a bum? Because he a bum too. Him and his son, two bums. They let that man walk away. How do you let a man like that walk away from your organization? Why? Because you listen to that dinosaur, Bill Belichick? You think Belichick no? Belichick never won anything without Tom Brady. Why don't you people admit the man won nothing without Tom Brady? And he never gonna win nothing without Tom Brady. And Bob Kraft ought to be blamed too, because he sat there and watched it all happen, and he did nothing. He sat there at the massage parlor. That's all I got to say.
Whoa,
Okay, so
this
that's
guy's he's a little excited.
Bobby.
That's
Wow,
why, you know what,
Bobby.
Mark, Joe, didn't we have that? Didn't we
We
have
had him, yeah.
a few weeks ago? I think
Bobby,
we had
Bobby
Bobby.
is not a
Bobby,
fan. Chris,
I love
Bobby's not a fan of Belichick's. That's for sure.
No, Bobby is he's a regular on the show now.
I think
So,
Bobby's
Mark,
getting-
listen.
I think Bobby's talking about massage parlors. I think he's drinking.
Yeah, but you know what, Mark? Honestly, there's some points that Bobby and Bobby, thank you for the call and the message. There's some points that he's making in there that, you know, aside from all the, you know, the drunken stupor stuff, there's definitely some points he's making, are there not?
Oh, absolutely, Chris. Listen, the one thing and I'm not even going to get into what he said about Belichick because he called in and said that once before. But what he said about Kraft, Chris, I think he's dead 100% right. Like, Kraft has gotten a free ride in this whole thing, Chris. And that Wickersham book is going to spell out the fact that Kraft was on board with the fact that he didn't want to give Brady an extension because he didn't think he could play until he was 45. So Kraft is just as much to blame as Belichick, if not more. Actually, more, Chris. He's the owner.
Yeah, I mean, you would think, obviously, hindsight's 2020, right? But you know, and listen, we were wrong. I was wrong. You know, I said, look, maybe it is time to move on. Blah blah blah. Nobody,
But Chris, he forced him to trade Garoppolo. So why wouldn't you do something?
And that's been my point. Mark and I have talked about this off air. Yeah, I put a lot. I honestly put more of this right now on Kraft than I do on Belichick, in the sense that, and I get it. I mean, you have two egos butting against each other on the field, but the guy off the field, as Bobby says, that's the guy responsible. So yeah, 2006, Mark, it just doesn't make sense what he did in 2017. They trade away Garoppolo. Now, all the experts out there, the so-called experts, have said that's not what Belichick wanted. Belichick wanted, that's right, Mark. That was Belichick's guy, right? It was Garoppolo. And so
he wanted to trade Brady.
Right. And so Kraft keeps Brady. So if that's the case, why aren't you giving him a contract at that moment? Why aren't you giving this guy a team-friendly Mahomes contract where you're giving this guy, you know what, Tom, we'll sign you up for another 8 years, whatever, and we'll spread out the money. We'll do what we have to do guaranteed so that your face is saved, and that way we can build around you and continue to get more, right? More for you. That would make sense. If you're going to get rid of Garoppolo, you re-sign Brady, right, Mark?
Well, yeah, at that point, Chris, they should have, if he said he was going to play until he was 45, then they should have figured out a contract and say, okay, we're going to pay you until you're 45 years old. We'll give you a contract. I don't know how many years it was until he was 45 at that point. Was it 5 years, 6 years? They should have gave him the contract and said, okay, we'll take care of you. You'll be 45 when the contract's up. And then if you still want to continue to play, we'll talk about it then. But you're right, Chris, they could have made it a team-friendly deal.
Right. But the thing that's odd to me, I mean, yeah, you're the friggin' owner of this team. What's odd to me is this is a billionaire. So when he says when Bobby says, yeah, they're bums, the son's a bum. Listen, I agree, and I'll let you comment on the son. But what I don't understand is how Kraft, look, in 2011, Kraft stepped in the NFL when his wife was sick. And he made that happen. He brought the sides together. He read the room and he got it done. You know, when that lockout was happening, or the potential, they were on the road for a strike. Mm-hmm. So how didn't he read the room right in this situation? You got at the time, Bill Belichick was what, like 66, something like that, right? How do you not read the situation and say, okay, I have Tom Brady over here. We just got rid of Garoppolo, so this is our guy, right? I have a 66-year-old head coach who will be pissed off if we give this guy money. Hey, you know what, Bill? This is what we're doing. I'm the owner of the team. Tom, let's sit them down in the room. And if you don't like it, then you can walk. Where the hell was Belichick going to go at that stage and rebuild the whole team? Because he's only going to go to a team that stinks, that needs a head coach, and has to rebuild. I would have rolled the dice and took my chances on that if you're Kraft. No? I mean, he's a billionaire. You didn't get that far with, making these kind of decisions, no?
I got a question, though. What between the two of them, when they looked at Brady, said to themselves, he's going downhill? All he did look like, and he still looks like he's getting better. He looks healthier. He looks leaner. He's running. He was running faster than he used to. You know what I mean? Like, what made them say, he's going downhill? You know,
he's one of the leading rushers on the Tampa team, by the way, just so you know. But because of the fear, Joe, the fear of he's going to run out, the bottom's going to fall out. He's going to fall off that cliff. You know what I mean? Mark, right? I think it was the fear in this can't be happening. How can this possibly happen? I mean, to me, that can be the only reason. I don't.
Well, I don't know. I think, yeah. And I'm going to tell you something, Chris. Belichick, I think, fell in love with Garoppolo, and Belichick wanted to prove, I think at that point, he wanted to prove I can do this again and continue this with somebody other than Brady, because at that point, there was already the debate on who's more important, Belichick or Brady. And I think Belichick was listening to that and said, you know what? I don't need him to win. I got a guy that will win. We won't skip a beat. And, well, that didn't happen because he was forced to trade him. But the other thing is this, Chris, in the whole situation. So Kraft forces him to trade him. But not only does he force him to trade him and not give Brady an extension, he allows Belichick to take a lesser deal so he can, from everything you've read and everything that there's been reported, he allows him to take a lesser deal so he can put him in a better situation, because he wanted to take care of Garoppolo, because he felt Garoppolo was getting screwed. Because supposedly we could have went to Cleveland, and Cleveland was going to give you the number 8 pick in the draft.
Oh, you mean you're talking about draft picks that you got for Garoppolo?
Yeah. You blew the number 8 pick in the draft because you wanted to put him in a better situation.
And Cleveland would have given that up.
They said they were. And as the owner, you allowed that to happen? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, he let the fear, Joe, to answer he let the fear decide it. You mean let the fear of losing Belichick decide this?
That's bullshit. You know what? Let him go. Come on, everybody's replaceable. You let Brady go. So if you think Brady's replaceable, you don't think Belichick's replaceable?
Well, it turns out he's not replaceable, is he?
Well, maybe not. We're going to find out Sunday night, aren't we?
Yes, we will. So Heated Hotline was brought to you by Jag Media Productions. Everything you see, everything you're hearing is brought to you by Jag Media Productions. So thank you, Bobby, for that call. So disgusting, isn't it?
I like Bobby.
I like Bobby too, but the whole topic just irritates you, doesn't it? So, Mark, it's that time. Let's get the Yankee versus Red Sox, Joe. So here we are, Yankees versus Red Sox. They played last week. I know, Mark, we got a lot to talk about there. And don't remember, everything that's happening now is happening now. So we're dealing with Thursday night's games through Sunday. So, Mark, how are they going to, down the stretch they come, right?
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that, because there's only like 2 games separating like 4 teams. You got the Red Sox, you got the Yankees, you got Oakland, and you got Seattle. Not Oakland, I'm sorry. You got Toronto, and you have Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle is red hot. They're as hot as anybody. If the Red Sox are losing tonight, if the Red Sox lose, Seattle's tied with them.
They were in the 6th inning, right? Down 6-1. And then, by the way, this is Thursday. Once again, by the time you all watch this, that would have been old news, right, Mark?
That would have been old news. But by the way, typically we're live, typically, right? But this week, because he's flying in and all this, for the game, we're not gonna be able to go live on Saturday. But Yeah, there's only like 2 games separating 4 teams, Chris. So it is a horse race. Down the stretch they come is a perfect analogy. It's a horse race, and who's gonna finish 1-2 at the finish line? It's anybody's bet right now. I mean, the Red Sox are struggling a bit here down the stretch.
So okay, they give me your opinion. So let's pretend we don't know the scores right now of tonight's game, and here it is Thursday. How many games do the Yankees need to win to get this done? To get
Yankees probably need to win
to be in the top wild card spot, to stay there.
To stay there, they probably need to win at least two more games.
So say tonight, Friday, maybe Saturday.
Say tonight and Friday, and depending on how these other teams do, maybe Saturday, Sunday don't matter. I don't know, because the Yankees are sitting right now on top. They're playing Toronto today, so depending on how they make out against Toronto, Toronto would fall another game behind, right?
Yeah.
So,
you had a good theory.
I think they're going to win at least a minimum of 2, Chris, possibly 3, but definitely they have to win at least 2, at least.
Well, you had a good theory. Tell the people you had a good theory on the Tampa series.
The Tampa series, Chris. I mean, so Tampa's, in first place. Their seeding's not changing. They're number 1 seed in the American League.
Yeah.
Right, the number 1 seed in the American League. So now, why would you risk anybody, a starting pitcher or any of your studs, getting injured this weekend? I have to believe they're going to start resting guys. They're going to use some guys out of the bullpen. That's guys that maybe don't start a lot. I can't see them using any of their aces. You're going to save them for the playoffs. So the games are at Yankee Stadium. I mean, I'm hoping that Toronto, you'll get some B-level players because they don't want to get anybody hurt. I mean, that would be the smart thing to do.
Which would spell disaster for the Red Sox. Which, Mark, on that side of the coin, what do they need? Because Baltimore's, if they lose this game tonight, what's that? 2 out of 3. They beat them last night.
Baltimore, to Baltimore, they would have lost 2 out of 3. Yeah,
which is inexcusable.
Yeah, Chris.
I mean,
and then this past weekend, you saw once again the Yankees swept them. You saw the deficiencies of that bullpen once again on full display. Right, whenever they went to that bullpen, it was like batting practice for the Yankees.
Stanton's red hot.
Oh, Stanton is a monster.
I mean, red. Speaking of the monster, he put that thing put one of them over the monster, over the green monster. So for Boston to get this done, and I say get this done, 2 things, Mark. What do they need to do to get over the Yankees? Or can they? Do you think they even can at this point?
Well, I think for the Red Sox to catch the Yankees, Chris, I think they probably got to come back tonight, and they probably got to sweep Washington. They probably got to win the rest of their games because, if the Yankees, like I said, if the Yankees win at least 2, the Red Sox are going to have to win every game. They can't lose a game, Chris. If they want to overtake the Yankees, they could lose and still get the second wild card spot, but they won't get the first one.
They're down 6-2 in the 7th.
So the Red Sox are in a lot of trouble. Like I said, if they lose tonight, they're tied with Seattle.
Well, they'll probably lose this game because the bullpen won't be any help. So, I mean, and that's going to be a series and a half because, and they're playing. Where are they playing?
They're at Washington.
Yeah,
and Washington's not very good, so
they don't really care. But
so the Red Sox could potentially sweep them, Chris.
But this is what they should have done over here against Baltimore.
But
I mean, Chris, how much this sense of urgency that they don't seem to have it. That's on Cora, no?
No, it is on Cora. And the other thing that I think is on Cora, Chris, is he didn't rearrange his rotation down the stretch. So tonight and over the weekend, your last 4 games of the playoff push. He didn't set up his rotation, so you don't get Eovaldi, and you don't get Sale. So your 2 best starting pitchers aren't pitching. You have the back end of your rotation going.
I'll tell you something right now, as it relates to the Red Sox. They make it in that one game. I'm starting Eovaldi.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll do that, Chris. If they make the 1-game playoff, they're going to go. I think they're going to start Sale, and Eovaldi's coming out of the bullpen because he's done that before. They're going to go Sale, Eovaldi. Yep. If Sale can give them 4 innings, maybe 5, Eovaldi will close the game out. They'll bring him in for 4. They're not going to the bullpen, Chris. Those are the 2 guys they're using in that game.
That's your bullpen. I think
bullpen.
Eovaldi would have more. He'd be more comfortable coming in the middle of a game versus Sale.
Yes, he would be, and that's why he's going to come out of the bullpen. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are your two pitchers on if they go to a wild card game, Chris. You're not ever going to see their bullpen in that game.
So we'll see what happens. And remember, everything's happening now. Is happening now. Everything that's happening Saturday at 7:00 when you watch it will have already happened.
Joe,
then.
What is he talking about, Joe? It's got to be retrograde or something. I don't even know what he's talking about.
Let me find it. I'll find it. Let me find it during the
Joe,
break, and I'll show you what he's talking about.
Joe knows exactly what I'm saying and what I'm doing. So Yankees versus Red Sox was brought to us by Special Sauce Podcast, Startup Finance, and Drive Yourself to Success, specialsaucepodcast.com. When we come back, you're not going to want to miss it. You're never going to want to miss it. Catone's comments next.
Here we go.
So I want to know who ever created the fact that a pumpkin is so desirable to want to eat and become the food of the season. Everything you see is pumpkin. Pumpkin coffee, pumpkin spice, pumpkin cookies, pumpkin pie, pumpkin cake, pumpkin. I got pumpkin coming out of my ears. I can't go anywhere without seeing pumpkin, something pumpkin. The other night, what do you think my wife makes? Pumpkin raviolis. Who wants pumpkin in raviolis? I never heard of such a thing. That's like an exotic thing over here, Chris. They charge you $30 for pumpkin raviolis. They put a cream sauce on it. Who in their right mind wants pumpkin raviolis? I was in the store the other day. You know I love the stores, Chris. Again, they sending me to stores. I saw pumpkin Cheerios. I saw pumpkin cookies. I saw Milano cookies, a nice Milano cookie with a cup of coffee. They're making them pumpkin. Why? Because it's October? Are you kidding me? September, October? I never heard of such a thing. Who ever came up with the idea about pumpkin? What, are you kidding me?
You have to bring your wife on the show to explain why an Italian would make pumpkin ravioli. I'm sorry. That's
I don't
just,
think she
I have
made
to
it.
agree with
I don't
Mark.
think she made it. I think she bought it. But it's just the point.
She made it. She put it in the water and put it on the table.
She did. They weren't
She
homemade.
put it. Did she put her gravy with that or sauce? Sorry, sauce.
Oh, she did. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
You know, Mark. You know where you can also find a lot of pumpkins, like decorative pumpkins.
No. Wait. Well, listen. We're not going there. We're not going there.
Joe, what was home? There. But Home Goods has them, Mark. I'm sure they're in. I'm sure they're in your house with price tags on them. So,
yeah,
Joe,
no. Listen,
what did we tell him to do last week? What did we tell him not to do? What did we tell him to stay away from? Where?
I think we specifically said any stores, storefront, any.
You know, now we've already instructed them stay off the roadways, stay off the highways.
No roads.
They even got these pumpkin munchkins. Everything's pumpkin. I didn't like it. Pumpkin spice lattes, this latte, that. I don't even know what the hell these coffees are called.
Well, that's back there. See, here it's about 600 degrees. So
yeah, well, nobody's having that there.
There's no pumpkins going on. You could drive a little north, you get the pumpkins. So, Mark, you really have an issue with the pumpkins, huh?
Oh, you're coming in for the game. I'm getting you pumpkin. I'm going to get pumpkin something for you. You have it coming out of your ears.
Bring me some of that pumpkin ravioli. That sounds so good. So good. But the worst thing you said, the worst thing that made my pumpkin Milano cookies.
Yep.
That's just, you know what? That's completely inexcusable.
I saw them on the shelf. Yep.
Yeah, they should be ashamed of themselves doing something like that. Don't you think, Joe?
They ruined the season, Chris. They have to have what? You got to make pumpkin the identity of the fall season? Are you kidding me? It should be it's football season. What pumpkins is got to be the identity of the fall season?
You know what I'm getting? You know what I'm bringing Mark for a little gift?
No, you're not bringing a pumpkin.
I'll get it in the airport. A nice jacket with a big pumpkin on it. What do you think? Nice pumpkin.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what, Mark? You should be for Halloween. You know what I mean?
Chris, when we were kids, all
one
we
of those
ever
pumpkins.
Chris, when we were kids, all we ever had was maybe we heard a pumpkin pie, right? And that was it.
Well, that's good. Pumpkin pie.
That's
my
good,
great aunt, they used to make my great grandmother. They used to make that really well.
Now they got pumpkin ice cream in the stores. They got everything.
Well,
Pumpkin.
they've gone too
They even
far,
got
just
the
like everything
pumpkin
else.
Cream, you put it pumpkin spice. You put it in your coffee. The creamer, even.
See, the coffee, I understand the coffee. You know, Dunkin' there, Dunkin' Donuts. I'm going to call it Dunkin' Donuts. Somebody thought Dunkin', all this crap about Dunkin'. You know, the pumpkin coffee, okay. My sister's getting that, like, she's waiting for that, like, in September. You know, she's standing in line, like, days before to get this pumpkin coffee. I never had it in my life, but, you know, but everything else, I agree with you, Mark. Too much pumpkin. So, well, now, so, Corso Catone's Comments was who we brought to you by. Oh, Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal law firm, corsolawgroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. And let's, Mark, Joe, we got to get the break because I gotta process this whole pumpkin thing. You know what I mean? I got to decide whether or not I want to bring Mark a pumpkin shirt when I come back.
I'm going to bring you pumpkin Milano Sunday.
when we come back, Patriots versus Buccaneers.
They even got pumpkin beer, for crying out loud.
Take us to break.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to corsolawgroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group. It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to corsolawgroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
Mark, he has lost
He lost
every
his mind.
sense of reality that Joe, first of all, excellent job.
That
Joe.
was a great. That was great. He's playing Rick Astley. Never gonna give you up. Jesus Christ!
I had to rickroll you on the Brady Belichick
and some Chicago for us too. Joe, you summed it up. You summed it up really well. Back with more Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. Hey, look, we see it all. We see it all on the show, and yes, he's back. He's back. And by the time you watch this, he'll actually be in town, right, Mark?
Yes, he will. They're staying in Providence, Chris.
So, Patriots preview here, previewing the Buccaneers as they come to New England, 8:20 p.m. You know the time. Everybody knows that. I don't have to give you the time anymore, but I do want to tell you that Mark and I will be on a day later for all post-game coverage Monday, October 4th at 7 p.m. You really aren't going to want to miss that. I can guarantee you. So
we may be on Twitter for a little post-game commentary, though. Coming out of the stadium.
I can't even imagine. And Mark and I are staying in the area, so there are no holds barred at that point. Hey, Mark, before we get to the Patriots preview, I just want to show you something right now. I have to take a second here. Wow.
Oh boy.
Jesus. You know what, Joe? He wants to bust my beans, but those are real Milanos, Chris. See, that's what a cookie's supposed. That's what a cookie's supposed to be.
Where did you have those? Ready on the ready over there.
I have them in the refrigerator. I sprinted across the house as soon as he said. I didn't know he was going to talk about Milano cookies. Who knows what he's coming out with? He's crazy. So talking about pumpkin. These aren't pumpkin though. This is the real deal, just like the real deal New England feel. So. All right, Mark, listen. I'm going to start with what I always start with, okay? Don't laugh, but what do the Patriots need to do? What do they need to do on offense? To win, to keep it close, to do what they need to do. What do they need?
They need to bring in 3 free agent wide receivers.
Okay,
Well, you're asking me what they need to do. I'm telling you what they need to. All right, you know what they need to do, Chris?
Not going to take it serious, Joe.
No, okay, here's what they need to do, Chris. In all seriousness, first of all, they need to get a healthy offensive line. That's number one. Because if the offensive line, Chris, if Wynn, who's on the injury report, and Brown don't play, we got a serious problem. Because
so wait a minute. When the Patriots run, who do you give the edge to? Go ahead.
Well,
and why?
Listen, Tampa Bay, Chris, has a good. They're solid against the run. They only give up about 67 yards a game, something like that, against the run. So. Obviously, no one's been able to run against them this year. However, our only chance, I think, of staying in this game and having a shot late, you're going to have to run the ball, Chris, 35, 40 times. Even if you're only gaining 2 or 3 yards, you can't. I just don't think this is one of those games where you can go away from it. You got to force it. You got to push it. And hopefully Damian Harris can break a few here or there. And I think you're going to have to activate the kid Stevenson, Chris. Especially now that James White is out, you're going to have to use Taylor as a change of pace. You're going to have to run the football this weekend. That's the key. My key is if the Patriots win this game or even close in the fourth quarter, it's because they ran the ball 40 times, 35 times, in my opinion.
Because if Brandon Bolden plays over Stevenson, I'm going to be that guy running across the field.
Well, Chris, this week, if you listen to Fears, Ivan Fears, the running backs coach.
I loved what he said.
Yeah, but he indicated that the last time Stevenson was in there, Chris, I guess his pass protection was horrific. And they've worked on that with him for the last couple of weeks. That's why he's been inactive. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. Did they punish him because they thought he fumbled that ball? I don't know.
Again, it's ridiculous. That doghouse thing doesn't, and maybe it's a different reason, but yeah, he's got to get on the field. Mark, listen. And I give the edge to the Bucks too in the running game. I get it. You want to keep Brady off the field. Honestly, you want to keep that guy off the field.
I think you're going to have to, Chris.
Because you know him. He's going to say, "Hey guys, keep it close. Keep it within 1 score, and I'll win this thing at the end." So, although we'll get to our predictions, but yeah, Mark, against the run, you're right. You were close. 63.5 yards per game. That's 4th in the league. 3.1 per rush. Because you got guys like Villa, Sue, Goldston. Then you got, off ball, you got Devin White, Levante David. I mean, this front seven, and with the way our offensive line is playing, and now, here's the injury report again. Everything that's happening now, it's Thursday's injury report. So I don't know what Friday's going to be. You people will know, but we know White's going to be out. That's it. He's done.
He's probably done for the season, Chris.
But limited activity. You had defensive line, Henry Anderson. Okay. A linebacker, Bentley, with a shoulder. Duggar, who's real helpful in the running game. He's new on the list. He's got a hamstring, which Josh Uche with a back. Van Noy with a groin. These are all defensive guys, too.
Chris,
but Mark, we're talking
play.
About offense. Trent Brown with the calf. And guess who else is now on the report? Isaiah Wynn with a knee. So you want to run the ball. How the hell are you going to run the ball with Heron, and I told you last week they need to bring Karras up from the practice squad because
they haven't yet. They'll have to. Don't they got to make that decision by is it Saturday?
They would have. I think they would have already had to. I don't know.
That's
one thing I don't know. Okay, but again, with these kind of injuries, I mean, look, they were playing like crap to begin with the offensive line. So no, I agree with you. They need to run the ball, but I don't know if they're going to be able to. I mean, you give the edge. You give the edge to the Bucs in that regard.
Chris,
but
listen,
I mean, yeah.
The other thing is this: is without the defensive guys you mentioned is even scarier. If those guys don't play, you have no line. That's your 3 starting linebackers, Chris.
Mark, you didn't have any off-ball linebacker, and we haven't gotten to the defense yet. But we don't have any off-ball linebackers to begin with. Guys that play 4 yards off the line of scrimmage. I mean,
Chris, that injury report is scary to me.
And, Hightower, Bentley, Lange.
Chris, in 2021, how do you have a hamstring injury?
Or groin. Yeah, listen, I nothing pisses me off more than that. Okay. Nothing irritates me more than that because with the training staff, with all the stretching and the taking care of your body and the limited amount they do in practice. Yeah, how do you pull a muscle? Other injuries, knee injuries, ankle injuries, shoulder, I get that. But I it's inexcusable that you pull a muscle. That irritates.
Chris, getting back then to the offense. So I'm saying running the ball. So you're saying they're probably not going to be able to run the ball.
I don't think they're going to be able to.
Line. Okay, so now what is your key to victory? What is your path to victory?
Well, the edge when they pass, when the Patriots pass, who you giving the edge to? I give it to the Bucs again.
Well, I don't think he'll play this weekend, but they signed Sherman. Because Brady made the phone call.
Of course.
He won't play this weekend. We don't. But he's going to help them.
Oh, he'll play. He'll be on that field. They'll put a package together. They'll simplify a few things for him because they're putrid in the secondary.
Okay.
So but when the Patriots pass, so okay. I'm conflicted about this, and the reason why I give the edge to the Bucs.
The game when you just try to really is this the game where you throw 20 balls to the tight ends?
It should be because, how they're going to play. Look, Bunting is on injury reserve with an elbow injury. That leaves they got Davis, Dean at corner, Winfield, Whitehead, and Edwards completing that secondary. So and then Dean wasn't he knocked out in the Rams game? He was with a knee injury, and that leaves Delaney. I mean, they're busted up in that secondary, and they've been playing like
Sherman will probably get playing time this week.
He will, but I mean, how much can he hasn't played? I'm not worried about Sherman, but look, they're beat up in the secondary. But the problem, Mark, is they haven't been able to protect. We talked about this last week. You can't protect Mac Jones. This guy's getting knocked around like crazy. He's sitting on that sideline. He's sitting on the sideline. Brady had to take him by Belichick had to take him by the hand. I'm saying Brady. Belichick had to take him by the hand, walk him into the locker room. He looked like he lost his best friend.
What was that about, though, Chris? He was looking like he was going on I'm not going to get into this today, but he was walking.
Go ahead, get into it.
But it looked like he was going on the field to talk to some other guys from the other team, and it's almost like he got reprimanded for, like he drags him into the tunnel. I don't know. That was weird. That was very weird.
I don't see it. I think a lot, like everything else around here, I think a lot was made out of very little, because what I think it was Belichick sees this guy like hanging his head on the sideline. You know, you got to grow up. Get out on the field, shake hands immediately. Don't sit there sulking on the bench. And I don't think that kind of body language, I don't think Belichick wanted many people to see that kind of body language out of his quarterback.
All right.
And so to me, that may be the reason why he said, no. Just come with me. Let's get in the locker room and we'll talk about it. And as a teaching tool. I don't think it was, I don't want you talking to people, or, you're going to get reprimanded. I think it was more about, let me protect you. Let me help you. You know what I mean? Right now, because you don't look so hot. That's not a good look. But yeah, Mark, with the guys I mentioned about the edge guys, I already talked about the guys on the front and then front seven. Those same guys, they're going to get to Mac Jones. I mean, they're going to get there. So it better be. Yeah, but
Chris, you didn't even talk about their edge rushers are very good.
Yeah, I mean,
you didn't even talk about the old pro on the edge.
Shaq Barrett.
I mean, come on.
Shaq Barrett, yeah. I mean, so again, they're gonna have problems running the ball. They're gonna have New England. I mean, they're gonna have problems passing the ball because they'll have success because the secondary isn't very good. But if they don't protect Jones, it's over. I mean, it's going to be a lot of 3-and-outs, and it's going to be given TB12 over there the ball way too many times, just way too many times. So to me, I'm giving the edge to the Bucs on that. Simply, not, and I want to do it because the secondary sucks for the Tampa, but I can't do it because they just can't. The offensive line sucks for us right now, and they're just giving up too many quarterback hits. So. Yeah, Mark. I mean, and as far as special teams go, real quick, I give that edge to well, they're going to have to play better than last week, New England, but I'll give that to them. I'll give it. They were terrible on special teams last week. They really were. Ball out of bounds.
And you said Falk is on the injured list with a knee. The kicker.
Yeah. Yes.
So you're talking special teams.
Sorry,
so we may have to activate the rookie.
Oh, Maron. So you're going to have, well, he's got a leg, but he has no accuracy. So we'll see. I mean, he's on the injury.
He's going to be playing at night in Gillette. Probably be a little windy, maybe a little. They said chance of some mist and showers.
Yeah, it's his left knee, which is It's his plant leg.
Yeah. So who knows if he'll even be playing, Chris?
That's a problem. I mean, Nick Folk, the leg you plant and then kick with the right leg, that leg and his knee is bothering him there. So we'll see. Maybe it's nothing huge, but. They're going to have to get in the red zone first, Mark, in order to do that. But you keep going 3-and-out on them, you're going to be in a lot of trouble very, very quick. So, that's the offensive side of the ball. What New England has to do to win, to possibly win this game. And like I said, it's got to keep him upright and try to run the ball. Try to get clock control, manage,
So, Chris, if they can keep him somehow upright, do you think that we can exploit their secondary?
Yeah, for short things. But they're not going to be able to take deep shots with that pass rush. They're going to have to dink, dunk, take what they give you, all that stuff that they will get criticized for. And you're going to have to incorporate the friggin' tight ends now. I mean, enough. Get these guys that you paid $100 million to, get them on the field, get them in the center of the field, and let them go to work. So that's what's going to happen. Mark, on the defensive side of the ball, listen, I'll tell you this, when the Bucs run the ball, I'm going to give that to believe it or not, even though the Patriots have been terrible against run, I'm going to give it to the Patriots here simply because they just don't do it a lot. Now, Darth Vader down there, the cartoon character that you call it, Bruce Arians, they may decide, hey, we want to run the ball a little more because New England's so bad against it, but Brady's not going to let him, is he?
Not this week, Chris. Listen, he may open up 5 wide. No huddle, shotgun, 5 wide.
I mean,
he may.
Empty
backfield.
Yeah.
And
they have it. They do it.
And they'll put up the 2 middle fingers while he's waiting for the ball.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to what happens when they throw the ball. But when they're running the ball, they attempted only 48 attempts this season.
Chris, if Uche's out and say Uche, Van Noy, and Bentley are out, that's going to hurt your running game.
They can't do that. I mean, how, Van Noy had the same injury last week and he played.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if they're out, then yeah, you're going to have
a serious
on the
problem
field.
controlling the run.
Yeah, you're going to have Lange on the field with Winovich.
Awful last week, Chris.
And Winovich, the one-trick pony.
Winovich
that
can't
edge
stop.
rush, the shoulder. I mean,
but Winovich can't play the run, Chris.
No, not at all. Not at all. But again, they only attempted 48 runs in 3 games. Their Fournette has got 24 carries for 94 yards. This is over 3 games now. Ronald Jones, 15 carries for 52 yards. So they haven't been any factor at all.
But
averaging 3.5.
But they do have the running backs to run the ball if they choose to.
They can, but Brady's not going to let them. Brady controls that whole offense.
Yeah,
controls the whole offense. So they're not going to let him. But I will say, listen, the Patriots would love nothing more than to see this team come out. Now, look, Belichick, the scheme may be this, Mark. Get into dime. And for those of you who don't understand that on defense, that's when you put about 6 defensive backs out there and you just flood the field with defensive backs, okay? And you're begging them to run the ball. Come on, run it on us. Because we're just flooding the field with defensive backs. That has to be something
he probably will do something like that, Chris. And then at that point, they're going to have to run the ball. But if we got 6 defensive backs, can we stop it?
That's the problem, So because you're trying to stop it with 5 guys,
so Chris,
and it's mano a mano at that point. You got 5 guys stop the run. They got 5 guys to block it up.
Do you think that Belichick will pull out of his pocket any of the schemes he uses on Mahomes?
Zero
looks and try to mix it up.
It's a way to
confuse. Or can we do that with that team?
It's a way. And by the way, the last thing on them running the ball, begging them, if Duggar doesn't play. If Duggar has a problem and he can't play, you can go dime. You can go 6 defensive backs with him because he's your 6th guy that can come down in the box and help with the run, But without him, you're using Phillips to do that. And we saw how that worked last year. What did you ask? What was your question?
I said, do you think that they will try to use some of what they do when they play Mahomes?
Oh, zero look.
And use some zero look and mix it up a little bit. And try to which I don't want to say confuse him. You're not going to confuse him, but at least get him thinking.
Yeah, listen, and for those of you who don't know what zero look is, basically what Mark's talking about is you bring everybody into a gap on the defense. So you have defensive line, you have linebackers all lining up either standing in a 3-point stance, just lined straight across the front, with 4 defensive backs behind, most times playing man. And then you don't know. You don't know what's coming, where it's coming from, who's dropping out. They can drop out into deeper coverage, cover 4 across. They can drop out into cover 2, cover 3, or they can bring everybody. And center pressure hurts Brady because he's not moving. Now he moves a little bit. He likes to shift. He was shifty last week against the Rams, but he got his ass kicked against them, But yes, Mark, can it work? It can work, but you cannot give anything away to this guy because he'll forget it. He will.
So, Chris, if you've looked at our first 3 games, right?
Yeah.
Any pressure we've got on a quarterback has come off the edge. Every so often we get a little pressure up the middle, but it's been coming off the edge with Judon and sometimes Uche and different guys. You're going to get killed if you're counting on that pressure against him.
Well, because he'll just step up.
He's going to slide into the slide up, and he's just going to kill you if you can't collapse the pocket up the middle against him.
Yeah, he'll step up and Gronk with those crossers or seam routes, and Godwin coming across. I mean,
Gronk is on the injury report.
Yeah, but he'll play. I mean, this is his everything too. He's a guy I hope gets booed. That's the guy I hope.
Can I tell you something, Chris? He may get booed. Brady probably won't initially.
No, he won't.
But Gronk
we'll
get
into that in 2-minute warning. We'll get into
Gronk
that.
May get booed, Chris.
I think he should.
Did you hear Gronk today? They asked him about what he misses about New England.
Nothing. What do you say?
No. He talked about going for walks in Foxborough in the woods. He's tapped right out. And then he talked about going out at night into Providence late after having a night out and getting Onlyville hot weenies and coffee milk. He mentioned
You
that
used
today.
to. That was used to. What in Oneyville in the New York system. Mark, you used to like doing that.
He mentioned New York system and he mentioned getting coffee milk.
Joe, both of you and Mark both used to like doing that. Going to get the wieners about 2 a.m, 3, and I never did that stuff. I was always home reading a book, doing
studying.
Yeah,
that's what I would do. Yep, that's what I. Well, we saw Gronk. Remember, we saw him in a little pub over there on 44. 44. Yep. We saw him in there hanging out. So, but yeah, listen. When they pass, obviously you give the edge to the Bucks. But yeah, if you don't get center pressure on Brady, you're in a lot of trouble. Now, Aaron Donald last week for the Rams. I mean, that guy. Well, that front is ridiculous.
That's different, Chris. That's the best front in football.
But listen, I think you got to give them New England some credit. They're going to come after. They are going to come at them with something. I mean, Belichick's been thinking about this for since Brady left. You know what I'm saying?
But Chris, can our secondary hold up against the multiple receivers he has?
Yeah, I wish
Gilmore was
so
on
badly
the field.
Gilmore
right?
was on the field. Yeah. No, I mean, Jones had a terrible game. Juwan Williams is awful last game. And, Jackson's tight. He's good. I mean,
Jackson, I think, will be okay. But the other side of the field, Chris, I'm very concerned about.
Of course. I am too. Because, after Jones and Juwan Williams, I mean, what do you have left? I mean, you have some decent safety play, but Rocket's going to be a problem. I mean, Mike Evans, Godwin, Antonio Brown. And I don't know if he's playing, but I don't think he's on the injury report.
Well, he came off the COVID list, so he'll play.
He'll play. So Antonio Brown, Tyler Johnson, tight ends, Rob Gronk, Brait, OJ Howard. Listen, they can throw out of the backfield to Jones, Godwin.
Well, how about last week, Chris, out of the backfield? That kid that they picked up finally had a big game. They picked him up for that reason. The kid from Cincinnati, that Bernard.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be a tough night. It's going to be a tough night of defense. You've got to have long drives if you're New England. You've got to keep the ball away from him. It's got to be the old playing against Manning and the Colts. But they don't have. We thought they would have that kind of defense, but they haven't shown it yet, have they?
And we thought they would have that kind of a offensive line and running game, and that's not there either, Chris.
No. So again, maybe they can take something from the Rams book on how to get some pressure on this guy. I mean, listen, I fully believe that Belichick's going to have a pressure package for him.
Chris, he's going to have a pressure package that he hasn't shown yet.
Right.
You're not going to tell me he's not. There's no way you're going to tell me he's not going to have a pressure package that he has not shown in the first 3 weeks.
He is. No, he definitely is.
Because he knows how Brady reads film. So it's going to be something Brady hasn't seen this year anyways.
He for sure is. The problem is, do they have the horses? Wow. Do they have the horses to do it? I mean, I don't know. You're going to beg him. You're going to beg him to run the ball.
This is the game, Chris. If Uche plays and is healthy, maybe this is the game that we talked about during the preseason, that Uche and Judon, you got to just move them up and down the line of scrimmage, and you don't know where they're coming from. And this is the game you got to attempt to do something like that with those guys. If a lot of loops, right? Yeah,
a lot of loops, a lot of stunts, a lot of a lot of defensive front taking on, have a lot of gap control where you got your defensive front tackles getting in a gap and controlling that, where your linebackers can come free up the middle and loop them around right into Brady's face. Judon would be great at that, and so is an Uche, but he's going to be on the field in order to do it. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the defense, but it could wind up being an ugly night. So, Patriots preview was brought to you by the Pats Nation, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching, the real Patriots post-game show, and that's going to be this week, Monday, October 4th, 7 p.m. Eastern, but usually 30 minutes following every Patriots game. So, Mark, we're getting to that end again, and I think we're going to get the 2-minute warning. So, Joe, let's have it. So, Mark, listen, we're at that time, so let's wrap it up. I know this is a possibility of getting into booed versus not. So,
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. I think I don't know if they'll boo him. I don't. I just don't know, Chris. I just hope there's nobody sitting next to you Sunday night with number 12 jerseys on, Patriot jerseys, because you're going to go out of your mind, out of your mind.
but how do you feel about it? I want to know how you feel.
How do I feel about what?
Yeah, how do you feel about this? This whole thing. This whole.
Listen, Chris, I'm going to tell you how I feel, and you know how I feel. I'm pissed.
Well,
I'm
I
angry.
do, but they don't.
I'm pissed. I'm angry. I'm pissed. I think it's time to turn the keys over to somebody else. I'm so disgusted in how Belichick handled this situation. And I just think it's time. If you moved on from Brady, it's time to start a new era, Chris, and it's time to move on from Belichick. I'm not saying the guy still isn't a decent coach, but it's time to move on. If you've moved on to Brady, it's time to move this organization into the future and give the keys maybe to McDaniels or somebody else. You've got a brand new quarterback, bring in a different type of an offensive scheme, bring in a number one receiver. Those are the types of things I want to see going forward, and it doesn't. And I hate to say it, but it doesn't involve Belichick. Anyway, I'm going to make a prediction of this game, Chris. Tampa Bay, 47. I thought about 51. I thought about 51, Chris. I thought about 51. 47. Chris, Brady. This has been all you say. Belichick is ready for this. This man has dreamt about this since the moment he walked out of that building. He said he knows the smell of the place. He knows the feel of the place. He knows what people are talking about. He knows everything about that place, Chris. He is going to, I don't want to swear, he is going to annihilate. He is going to stick it so far up Belichick's ass. Chris, you know what? Screw it. 51. 51-17 Tampa Bay. 51.
How do they get to 17? Were they going to do it late?
They'll do it late. It'll be a mop up. Maybe it might be. I think Gunnar might run a punt back deep into Tampa territory, and you score a cheap. You score on a short field. I don't think. I think Tampa's defense is going to dominate. I think you might see Tampa's defense with 7 or 8 sacks in this game. If the injuries on the offense, because they have that good of a pass rush, Chris, you might see 7 or 8 sacks. I think at halftime, you're going to be, Chris may be choking me because he flew in for this game when he could have got 2,000 for the tickets a piece.
Hoyer's going to be in this game in the second half. Listen, so Mark, just real quick. You're going to boo him or cheer him?
I'll boo him. Screw it. I'll boo him. I'm a Patriot fan. I'll boo him.
Joe, really quick.
Pause for dramatic effect.
I know, right? Joe, let's have your prediction really quick.
Oh, man. Come on. I agree with Martin. Brady's got a big can of whoop ass that has Billy and Bobby written right on the front of it.
Yeah. Okay. For me, I'll try to wrap this up quickly. I agree with these guys. I mean, Brady's whole world and function right now is to ram as much of a football down Belichick's throat and up his ass that he possibly can do. He wants to come in here and throw for 500 yards and like 5 touchdowns. That's what he wants to do. And you know what? He's going to do it because every guy. Remember when Favre played for his father? And this is completely different. So I don't want to.
I remember that when they went to Oakland. I remember that. My
point is the guys on that team. Okay, played for the guys on this Tampa team are going to do. They're going to die out on that field. Okay, for this guy, and that's what's going to happen because he gave him a Super Bowl last year. So my prediction is going to be a little more. It's going to be 40. It's going to be 41-20. That's Patriots get a late touchdown when they're at 13. That doesn't mean anything. Brian Hoyer is the one who throws it because I think Hoyer's going to be in the game. In the second half, I think they're going to get their ass kicked to a degree that Hoyer's going to be in this game. Brady ain't going to come out. He'll put the pedal down as far as he can go. Okay, that's my prediction of the game. I know we're a little over, but
Chris, you think we'll see a Gronk spike?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we're going to see a Gronk spike and we're going to see a Brady spike because he's going to run one in from the goal line too. And so that's it for me. And as far as booing or cheering, no, I'm sorry. I like Brady. I love what he did for us. It's game time. The friggin' name on the front of the jersey is more important than the name on the back. So, yeah, you're right. I'm the diehard that's had the tickets for 30 years. I'm the guy that was in the stadium where you could sit anywhere you wanted when I bought the tickets because they sucked and when the fans were rabid. So if I see some jackass standing over there with a Brady jersey and a Tampa jersey, oh, Tom, we miss you. Get the out of my face with all that on that night. Mark, listen, I'm flying in for this, and they may take me out.
We might not have a show Monday night.
They may take me out in the paddy wagon. I'm going to need Corso Law Group at that point. So, 2-minute warning was presented by the Pats Nation, the real Patriots postgame show. Remember, airing this Monday, October 4th at 7 p.m. and 30 minutes following every Patriots game. Mark, we went over, so there's some people to thank tonight. Want to thank the people over at Special Sauce Podcast, Startup Finance, and Drive Yourself to Success, specialsaucepodcast.com. Jag Media Productions. Joe, nice job. Everything looked great tonight, especially that Patriots preview intro. So Jag Media Productions, Studio 42 Designs for all your graphic design needs, studio42designs.com. Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal law firm, corsolawgroup.com. And Mountain View Home Watch and Security, Scottsdale's leading home watch and security firm. Join us for Pats Nation, as I said, Monday night, October 4th, 7 p.m. Mark and I will go through all the post-game coverage, and for sure, you're not going to want to miss that. We'll go through Mac Mania, our Sunday Stiff, and Brady versus Belichick. And make sure you tune in next Saturday, every Saturday at 7 p.m. for Corso and Catone, this show, the real deal, New England feel, and we will preview the Patriots-Texans game, which is a little more reasonable. So, for Mark Catone, Joe Goneri, I'm Chris Corso. Enjoy the game as much as you can.